shakes you, right? I mean, to now have to be concerned and worry about the safety of your vote.
A new warning tonight from investigators working to figure out who burned ballot boxes here in the West. They say the arsonist may try to do it again. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. We are learning more tonight about the person suspected of setting off incendiary devices at ballot boxes in Oregon and Washington. The Associated Press reports those devices were marked with messages including "Free Gaza." Fox 12's Carly Olson spoke with election officials about what's being done to protect the voting process.
I'm getting it in and it's done and I feel good about my vote.
Kelly Guild visited the ballot slot on the site of the Multnomah County Library in Northwest Portland, an option she now feels is safer.
I like it because it's not a box, it's a building, so I just feel like it's a little bit more secure.
It's really a shame.
Sean Haggerty from Northeast Portland put his ballot in the slot at the county elections building, also opting for greater security after the events of Monday morning.
It shakes you, right? I mean, to now have to be concerned and worry about the safety of your vote if you really want your vote to be tallied and counted.
On Wednesday, Portland police announced a description of the suspect they believe put incendiary devices on ballot boxes, destroying a few ballots in southeast Portland and hundreds in Vancouver. They described him as a Caucasian male between 30 and 40 years old with short hair or balding with a thin to medium build. They say he was wearing a dark shirt and is highly knowledgeable in metal fabrication and welding. Both incendiary devices were marked with the message "Free Gaza," though authorities are still unsure if the suspect was actually motivated by pro-Palestinian views. This, according to a law enforcement official who spoke with the Associated Press.
Monday really showed us that our security plan worked.
Tim Scott with the Multnomah County Elections Office says their security teams have now doubled their patrols along with police surveillance. And he says voters are still using the boxes just as much as other methods ahead of Election Day.
Yesterday we got almost 30,000 ballots back in the mail. So we're starting to see that turnout increase. It's really important to me that people know that we have a plan and it's a good plan, and we're going to keep moving this election forward as we're required to do by law.
Even so, authorities believe the suspect could potentially strike again. And the group Crime Stoppers of Oregon is now offering a $2,500 reward to anyone who can provide a tip that will lead to an arrest. Carly Olson, Fox 12 Oregon.
Tonight, we're seeing the steps being taken by election officials in Utah to protect those processing ballots. Special boxes are set up in vote tabulation centers, allowing election officials to safely inspect ballots that may have suspicious powders on them. Ballot drop boxes have a fire suppression system with around-the-clock surveillance, and ballots that are in transit are tracked with GPS and sealed inside tubs. Both presidential candidates are campaigning in Wisconsin before heading out west later this week. Vice President Harris holding a rally in Madison. Earlier today, she called for Americans to, quote, stop pointing fingers at each other, referring to two recent controversial comments. First, a comedian at a Trump rally called Puerto Rico, quote, a floating island of garbage. Then President Biden reacted to that comment, saying, quote, only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. The White House says the president was only referring to the comedian's rhetoric. Former President Trump held a rally tonight in Green Bay after taking questions from the front seat of a garbage truck. This move was meant to amplify the debate over those recent garbage comments. Both of the candidates are expected to visit western battleground states here in the West. Arizona and Nevada is where they're headed tomorrow. Rolling Stone reports that actress and singer Jennifer Lopez will be joining Harris at a Las Vegas rally. Lopez has roots in Puerto Rico and showed strong support for Harris after those comments about the U.S. territory were made at the Trump rally last weekend. Former President Trump plans to hold a rally in Henderson, Nevada tomorrow. In Arizona, Vice President Harris is also going to hold a When We Vote, We Win rally in Phoenix. The former president will be attending a hurricane relief benefit in Glendale outside of Phoenix. And the former president has another rally planned for tomorrow in Albuquerque, New Mexico. A busy day of campaigning across the West. Election officials in Arizona say a new law will likely lead to delayed results. That law, written by a Republican state representative, requires counties to hand count the ballot envelopes that are dropped off on Election Day. Poll workers must also wait for the polls to close before signatures are verified and the votes counted. Republicans say this is needed for election integrity.
Take anywhere from 45 minutes to a couple of hours to do this count at each polling station. So pretty good chance that that batch of late earlies gets reported on election night.
In Maricopa County, where Phoenix is, just in that county alone, officials say more than 1 million ballots have already been returned to election officials. Arizona voters, they are getting the most election robocalls in the country this election cycle. Fox 10's Steve Nielsen spoke with some of the voters who are frustrated with the constant phone ringing.
Well, here's the deal. We aren't just a swing state. We also have an open Senate seat on the ballot. We also have tight congressional district races. We also have an abortion question on the ballot, a border question on the ballot. Do I have to keep going? There's a lot on the line in our state, so that means there's going to be a lot of people clogging up our phone lines, too. Donna isn't messing around.
Text messages, I just delete them. I don't even open them.
She's had enough of the political texts and calls. How many a day do you think you're getting right now?
20, maybe more.
10 combined.
I'm probably down to about 30 now.
30? Howard says they start at 5:30 in the morning.
And then late at night, 10:30 at night, you're watching Stallone's movie on Sunday night. You know, that was Tulsa, and then all of a sudden I get 2 more. Yeah.
My phone is constantly blowing up with text messages and phone calls.
Ashley Richards with E Squared Marketing in Scottsdale says the politicians follow 2 main strategies.
Diving into scarcity and urgency generally can work really well, but what we're seeing with these politicians right now is they're excessively using this language and they're excessively sending out these text messages, and that could be a big turnoff for voters.
According to Transaction Network Services, the state of Arizona has received 1,522,000. Okay, all right. Over 1.5 million robocalls. Stop ringing.
Even Michigan, even Wisconsin, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Georgia, don't hold a candle to Arizona for the spam calls.
John Haraberta with TNS says they monitor global call data to find our state is in the lead.
Colorado, Minnesota, Nevada have been spiking up, but their level of traffic is still under what Arizona has been doing.
So sorry, but this might be the new normal.
I don't like them. I want them to be over.
This is the worst. Yep.
Steve Nielsen, Fox 10 News.
The calls and texts just keep on coming. Well, the right to vote is, of course, sacred here in the United States, but voting isn't always accessible, especially for citizens living in the most remote corners of Alaska. In places like the small village of Kaktovik off the north coast of Alaska, voting services are often unreliable if they're available at all. Many challenges with voting are attributed to weather, unreliable mail and phone service, as well as a shortage of poll workers. And in a sparsely populated state with only 1 House representative, elections can be swayed by a small number of votes.
It's our God-given right to be able to vote in any election that has reaches that affect what happens in our country and our lands. I mean, it's something that can definitely really affect us, especially in the next presidential election.
State, local, and regional leaders say they are working to make sure everyone in Alaska can vote. Several voting nonprofits also say they're working to help with staffing and resources. And you can head over to westcoastwrap.com to stay on top of all the major storylines as we head toward Election Day. All the big stories across the West, we're covering all of it. Our in-depth coverage includes a look at how the vote in one Arizona county could be the key to shifting the balance of power in Congress. That's all at westcoastwrap.com. Coming up tonight, the Menendez brothers have a new court date. Tonight, how long it's going to take for a judge to consider a request to re-sentence the admitted killers.
And in weather, here's our live camera looking out toward the Bay Bridge in San Francisco. We are tracking more rain across parts of the West Coast, and we will have the update coming up.
They put their safety on the line to help to get me out of there.
Praise tonight for sheriffs, deputies, and Good Samaritans in Washington. Cameras rolling as they rescued a man from a burning car. We have that man's thank you to those who saved his life. We have an update tonight on the push to free two Southern California brothers who admit they killed their parents decades ago. A December 11th resentencing hearing date has now been set for Eric and Lyle Menendez. Last week, the Los Angeles County District Attorney announced that he would be seeking resentencing for the brothers. He says he took several factors into consideration, including new evidence in the case and the brothers' rehabilitation in prison. The Menendez brothers say they shot their parents to death inside their Beverly Hills home in self-defense after years of emotional and sexual abuse by their father. If the judge approves the resentencing, the brothers will still need a state parole board to grant their release. Another potential path to freedom, though, is clemency, and the brothers' attorney told TMZ that he is filing documents asking California Governor Gavin Newsom to grant clemency to the Menendez brothers. We will, of course, continue following that story. Authorities in Central California say they have busted a large theft ring targeting heavy agricultural equipment like tractors and forklifts. They say the losses to farmers here total $2.25 million, and they point to a sophisticated network of thieves tied to Mexican cartels.
A lot of times in the ag community, we hear a tractor stolen, a forklift stolen. People put GPS on these devices, but these criminals know how to take the GPS off and how to make them untrackable.
Investigators say the thieves have been stealing heavy agricultural equipment from farms across Central California since March. Tonight, the deadly E. coli outbreak tied to McDonald's is expanding. Today, the CDC confirmed 15 more cases, bringing the total number of cases to 90 across 13 different states. Federal health officials believe the new cases involve patients who ate McDonald's before the fast food chain removed onions that were grown by California-based Taylor Farms. Investigators suspect those onions are the likely source of the outbreak, which has left one person dead in Colorado. As Fox 31's Kim Posey reports tonight, the CDC believes the risk for new infections is low, in part because of recent actions taken by Taylor Farms and McDonald's.
Investigators say slivered onions sourced from a Taylor Farms facility in Colorado Springs are the likely source of this E. coli outbreak. Here's the McDonald's president, Joe Erlinger, earlier this week.
Because of your work, our customers can be confident that any contaminated product related to this outbreak has been removed from our supply chain. Because of your work, we can confidently say that it's safe to eat at McDonald's restaurants.
900 restaurants in this region got onions from that facility and had stopped selling the Quarter Pounder. Those restaurants will start to sell them once again on a rolling basis in the next week without onions.
Well, I probably try it.
But residents have mixed feelings about eating a Quarter Pounder when it's back on the menu.
I don't know. I don't think I'll eat there again. I'm not confident. I don't feel safe.
After government testing, McDonald's ruled out the beef patties as the source of the E. coli. The company will send out a fresh supply of the Quarter Pounder patties.
I don't know much about the process that they went through. I would hope that if the FDA oversaw it, that it would be, a good enough process for it to be safe to be back on the market. But yeah, I wouldn't blame anybody for not wanting to go back and try it. I think it was a pretty serious issue.
Now, the FDA will continue its investigation into the Taylor Farms Colorado Springs facility. Remember, other businesses could have received onions from that facility. Kim Posey, Fox 31.
Hundreds of families who evacuated because of a wildfire in Colorado are being allowed to return back home tonight. Firefighters say they're getting the upper hand on the Highland Lakes fire. This started on Monday west of Colorado Springs. Tonight, the fire is about 80% contained. It's burned more than 166 acres and destroyed one home. Investigators do believe this fire was human caused. And shifting now to talk about our weather here, and it may be fall, but a winter weather advisory will take effect later tonight for some people up in the Sierras. Here are live pictures tonight from EarthCam showing Lake Tahoe's Heavenly Ski Resort, where a lot more snow is expected to fall in those overnight hours. Let's bring in KTVU meteorologist Mark Tamayo, who is tracking this system that is bringing winter-like conditions to the west here. And Mark, obviously you are tracking that important Halloween forecast as well.
Yeah, that's right, Alex. A lot to cover in this forecast. And as you talked about, in the Sierra, they are expecting some snowfall developing tonight and into tomorrow. So winter weather advisory begins 11 p.m. tonight until 5 p.m. Thursday, and snow potentially could be around 3 to 5 inches. So these are not major totals, but still a shift in the overall weather pattern. And they're probably going to pick up some more snow as we head into Friday night and into Saturday. Showing you the rain coverage right now, as you can't pick out, it is dry down in Southern California, but we do have the rain really focused up in the north, up in Seattle and Portland, some rain and some snow showers as well. As we come in closer right now, these areas under, let's see, winter weather advisories, as you can't pick out, until 5 p.m. Friday afternoon. Here is a look at that band moving into Northern California. So right now we have some rain moving into Eureka, right around Redding as well, and then approaching the San Francisco Bay Area for tonight and into early tomorrow morning as that front moves from the north to the south. Current numbers out there, we have 71 in Phoenix, Los Angeles checking in 61 degrees. It is cold up north, up toward Portland and Seattle. Temperatures 47 degrees. In Seattle today, lots of clouds, measurable rainfall 0.19 over the past 24 hours, and a high today only 51 degrees. San Francisco, a sun cloud mix throughout the day, still waiting for the rainfall to pick up later on tonight, lower 60s. And out in the Phoenix area, still some sunshine, but they get a break from the heat with temperatures mainly in the upper 70s this afternoon. Here's the forecast. As you can see for tomorrow, we do have actually this nice word should be focused down to the south. It will be stormy up in Seattle and Portland. In San Francisco, temperatures will be in the 60s, partly cloudy skies. And then sunny and warm. If you want the warm temperatures, that's down towards Southern California and out toward Phoenix as well. In terms of the rain coverage, here we go. And there we go with that stormy pattern up toward Portland and Seattle. This is the forecast model through Saturday, 5 p.m. Maybe those rain chances actually extending to the south, eventually down towards Southern California. So here's the forecast model showing you the rain and the snow up in Seattle. For San Francisco, it's a rainy forecast for tonight. And that chance could linger into Thursday morning. So as you can't see here, for all the trick-or-treaters, the stormy weather is kind of focused up here. And then this is Thursday afternoon, 1 p.m. and also 6 o'clock for tomorrow evening for your Halloween. So checking out the forecast over the next 3 days, where it remains unsettled and wet and chilly up in Seattle. San Francisco, another chance of some rainfall by Friday evening into early Saturday morning. If you want the warm temperatures, you can look out, maybe travel to Phoenix. Temperatures will be back up into the lower 80s for Thursday, Friday, and into Saturday. So a bit of a winter chill showing up on our forecast maps over the next few days.
Yeah, bring the jacket for sure when you head out to do the trick-or-treating. Mark, thank you. In Oregon, the Multnomah County Sheriff is raising the alarm tonight, saying that both of the county jails are approaching capacity. They're currently 87% full. If the jails reach 95%, officials will need to start releasing people from custody. The sheriff says 5 dorms are currently out of use since the county doesn't have enough officers to staff them, and they don't have the funds to hire more. To open the dorms, they would have to close other parts of the sheriff's office.
Potentially closing the booking counter. So they go hand in hand with respect to being able to be nimble in opening a dorm and not having the funding available to really attack this emergency staffing crisis within our system currently, and that has been in our system for more than a couple years.
The only inmates who would be eligible for release are those who are facing charges for nonviolent crimes and misdemeanors. Coming up tonight here on West Coast Wrap, bystanders step in to help save a man from a burning car. We'll break down this video of the dramatic rescue and show you how deputies got that victim out. Plus, a massive lithium reserve underneath a Southern California lake. The legal fight over extracting the mineral that's used to produce batteries for electric vehicles. As this year's cross-country World Series between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the New York Yankees continues tonight, rising tensions have brought out some questionable fan behavior. During the first inning of Game 4 in New York, 2 Yankees fans were seen trying to grab the game ball from the glove of Dodgers outfielder Mookie Betts. Footage showed Betts caught the ball, but then one fan grabbed the ball from his glove while another grabbed at Betts' hand. Both of those fans were ejected, and they were banned from Game 5 being played tonight. The nearly abandoned Salton Sea in Southern California is sitting on a massive deposit of lithium. The metal is crucial in making batteries for electric vehicles. As Fox's Max Gordon reports tonight, there is now a roadblock to extracting that valuable resource.
The Salton Sea used to be a glamorous vacation destination, though over the past few decades, the lake has been drying up and with it, the local economy. But now, the finding of a massive source of lithium deep underneath the lake could energize the area and U.S. automakers.
Among today's electric vehicles, one thing in common: lithium. The minerals used to make EV batteries, and most of it comes from overseas. But recently, the U.S. Department of Energy announced the finding of a massive supply of lithium deep underneath California's Salton Sea, enough to make an estimated 375 million EV batteries.
It's not easy. Get it out of the ground, get built, get operating.
Rod Caldwell is the CEO of Controlled Thermal Resources, or CTR, spearheading a project that will extract and process lithium powered by geothermal energy.
We'll start construction here shortly. Most of the long lead equipment is already ordered.
CTR's project has investments from both GM and Stellantis, and several other companies have plants planned as they rush to cash in on the vast lithium reserves here.
I would say, think about maybe the early days of big oil, right? This is a very similar sort of process, clean and green.
Though there are concerns about how green the process will be, and a lawsuit has been filed by the community group Comité Cívico del Valle and the environmental group Earthworks.
It will set the precedent for how these projects move forward, whether they follow high environmental safeguards and respect for communities.
The lawsuit claims the county hasn't fully analyzed how hazardous waste will be processed, and that water use from the project will cause the Salton Sea to dry up faster, revealing more dusty lake bed in an area with high rates of asthma.
When you drive in, right, you see our atmosphere, you see the concentration of those particles in the air.
These groups say they aren't necessarily against these lithium extraction projects. They just want the courts to require more environmental safeguards. At California's Salton Sea, Max Gordon, Fox Business.
Finally tonight, a daring rescue to show you in Washington. Body camera footage shows Good Samaritans trying to help King County Sheriff's deputies rescue a man from a burning car earlier this month. Jacob Shook says he crashed that car as he tried to pull over in Newcastle, which is southeast of Seattle. He was on his way home after leaving work early because he didn't feel well.
So thankful, like from the video that I watched, I saw that even just the civilians around were trying to help, you know what I mean? We're trying to put the fire out and help. And then when the first responders got there, they put their safety on the line to help to get me out of there.
Shook's family members say that he is recovering still from broken ribs, a ruptured bladder, and third-degree burns, but obviously grateful to be alive. And it really is just incredible to see strangers stepping up in a moment like that to help someone who is in trouble. A remarkable rescue there. That does it for West Coast Wrap tonight. We appreciate you watching. As always, and a reminder before we head out here, you can stay up to date on all the major stories we're covering across the West, including all our election coverage here at westcoastwrap.com. We'll leave you here with a beautiful shot of downtown San Francisco. Have a great night.
Tackling homelessness